It's good.
Oh my goodness, I do.
Okay. So like, is it gonna go? I'll introduce myself. So my name's James Marin. I like to call myself a holistic registered dietitian because, like Rebecca and Andrew mentioned, you know, there's so many other factors: their environment, stress. But I do put a heavy focus on nutrition because why wouldn't I, as a registered dietitian? But there are other factors that affect your health and how you feel and weight gain and so on and so on. So. Cool, there it is. Step down a little bit. So again, what we're talking about, preventing obesity for the entire family. And so what we're going to talk about is processed food versus whole food, how and why to avoid processed food, and positive meal times. And so first, I want to talk about processed food, and we hear that a lot, right? We always hear about processed food, avoid processed food. What is it? I like to put it on a spectrum, okay? Here's the spectrum. So the idea of a whole food, let's give an apple as an example, right? Next, a processed food would be sliced apples. Technically, it's a processed food. It's been sliced. So that's technically a processed food. But would you consider that healthy still, sliced apples? Right. As we keep going down the spectrum, as you can guess, it gets more and more processed, right? Applesauce, still good. I like applesauce, and I think that's good for my patients. Homemade apple nut bread, right? It depends. How much sugar you put in there, what flour. But you can see apple juice, packaged apple bars, apple roll-ups, apple cinnamon crunch cereal, and apple puff snacks, and then we got an apple flavored gummy bear, right? So that's the spectrum of processed food. So I don't always say processed foods are bad, but what I do say is if you're taking out the fiber, then yes, processed foods are bad. Because up to a certain point, there's fiber. So the whole apple has fiber, apple slices have fiber, applesauce has fiber, and even sometimes some recipes with breads can still have lots of fiber and they're good. Then you get to a certain point, like apple juice, where what makes juice dangerous is the fact that all the fiber's gone, right? So I do not usually recommend juice. Does that give you any questions with that? That gives you a good idea of what I'm talking about in terms of processed food. Okay, so what do we do, right? Okay, so it's easy. We're done here. Just eat whole foods, right? Don't eat processed foods. Okay, we're done. No. It's, so what do I mean by say whole foods? Well, you know, all the vegetables and plant foods and leafy greens, legumes, lentils and beans, nuts and seeds, whole grains. So whether it's wild rice or quinoa or whole wheat, it's great, but the idea is that you want to eat them as a whole food. Why? Because there's a big difference, and this goes back to that spectrum of, there's a big difference between corn and corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup. There's a big difference between whole grain wheat and wheat flour and white flour. It's all from the same source, it's just how much we process it, right? There's a big difference between, you know, like again the apple example, where I mean we can go down the list, strawberries to strawberry puree to strawberry jam, right? There's a big difference. And so what the difference is we've taken out the fiber, and that makes us overeat. We take out the fiber, and that makes your blood sugar go up. So no one ever says, I can't stop eating Brussels sprouts, right? But a lot of people say, this pint of ice cream is gone. Easy. Can't stop. Or those bags of chips or pretzels, so if you think about it, the stuff that once it hits your mouth, it's melted, or the bag is empty, look at those ingredients. Are there any fiber? Is there any fiber in that? Probably not. And so I want to touch on, let me go back. I don't want to leave out the animal products, and usually what I recommend is the same thing. Is if you do consume animal products, do so in the most unprocessed way. So I do recommend organic. I will say there's lots of research, as well as case studies, as well as I've seen with my patients, a lot of benefit. I say the most bang for your buck is if you are consuming animal products, get organic. Because the idea is that you're here hopefully trying to eat better, to be healthier. The same applies to the animal. If the animal's eating better and healthier, you're going to have a healthier product, whether it's cheese or milk or butter or, you know, whatever, sirloin steak or chicken breast. If that animal's eating better, drinking better water, able to move around and get exercise, it's going to be beneficial for you eating that. Any questions with that? I can do a whole talk just on that. But so if you see things like USDA organic or non-GMO verified or grass-fed, free range is getting a little iffy, but I put it up there still. It's better than not having it. But again, so it's about eating quality over quantity, and also with animal products, even if you decrease or do none, that's fine as well. I will touch on that. So again, why? And this is something, you know, Rebecca and Andrew touched on earlier, is that, you know, if we do avoid processed foods, those overly processed foods, we do prevent obesity and diabetes and overeating and even neurological issues. I mean, this list is so much, it's so bigger than I had even room to put up here, but behavior issues and heart disease and mood and depression and GI issues. So the way to do it right is to look at this nutrition facts and know everything about it, right? No. I put this really busy picture up here so it's overwhelming for you on purpose, right? I tell my patients, don't look at nutrition facts. And you're thinking like, what? Even though they're dietitians, like some of my colleagues, like, wait, what? You don't really do nutrition facts? No. I say forget it. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about the percentages. Don't worry about, you know, whatever, fat, carbs, even sugar. Don't worry about it. And you're thinking like, what? Why? I'll tell you why. So I want to give you this great example. So we have a Nature Valley Crunch Bar versus a Banana Bread Lara Bar. Okay? And I want you to raise your hand if you would do so. Nature Valley Crunch Bar, try not to look at the ingredients, you probably already did, but 190 calories, 11 grams of sugar. Lara Bar, 230 calories, 20 grams of sugar. Who would eat the Nature Valley Crunch Bar? Okay, who would eat the Lara Bar? Alright, interesting. I say eat the Lara Bar. Why? Well, Nature Valley Crunch Bar may only have 11 grams of sugar, but if you read the ingredients, you'll see that it starts out really strong. Whole grain oats, great. Whole grain, that's a key word. Whole grain oats, great. The next ingredient is sugar. Not good. So, why is that? Well, in an ingredient list, the first ingredient is what's most. The second ingredient, second most. Third ingredient, third most, right? So if your second ingredient is sugar, you're eating, you know, secondary ingredients, mostly sugar. That's what the second most item is in that product. And again, sugar, this is processed sugar. And there's 61 different names of processed sugar. Dextrose, fructose, cane sugar, agave, honey, you know, I mean, my gosh, the list goes on. And they're getting fancier and fancier by each day. I was at Costco and I saw like, you know, or coconut nectar or something like that too. It's like, wow. And you think, oh, well, coconut, it's healthy. But not if they stripped away all the fiber and just left all the sugar. Okay? So let's talk about Lara Bar here. So let's look at the ingredients. Almonds, dates, unsweetened banana. And so you're thinking, well, it has 20 grams of sugar though. Yes, but that sugar is coming from dates and unsweetened banana. And what you're getting with that sugar, you're getting it locked in with pectins and all these phytonutrients and fibers, even amino acids, which are protein. And so your body's going to take time to break that apart. It's not going to spike your blood sugar. It's going to take time. It's going to give you a nice steady, I feel good. As opposed to when it's just sugar, rice flour, honey, brown sugar syrup, spiked up. Does that make sense? Any questions with that? So I love this example because a lot of times, and it's not, you know, and I was like this at one point too, or so consumed with, oh, that's too many calories, that's too much sugar. But that's where I challenge you to look at quality ingredients because they're going to make a huge difference. It's in the research, and I've seen it with my own patients, big time. So I say, don't be consumed by this because you're going to go crazy. Just look at the ingredients. And I'm really, I mean, this isn't 100% true, but you can go by this as if you don't understand it, don't eat it. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. But I always say if it's in your pantry, if the ingredients are in your pantry, and you would cook it if you knew how to or had the time, go for it. right? There's even frozen meals out there I recommend to my patients who, you see the ingredients, it's brown rice, it's, organic chicken breast or broccoli. It's ingredients you would cook with. If you're seeing monosodium glutamate and dehydro blah 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 and mono blah, all these chemicals as opposed to ingredients, there's an issue. There's an issue because whole foods. My mantra is plants protect. Plants protect, and that's whole foods. They're there to protect you. That's why you can't eat 10 apples in one sitting. That's why you can't eat a big bag of Brussels sprouts. That's why you'll get sick and vomit. Because those whole foods are built-in mechanisms to make you not overeat. When we process foods, we take all those mechanisms out. And now you can drink or eat 500 calories in no time. Remember those, unicorn frappuccinos from Starbucks? Easy. I mean, what's that? That drink is probably more than 500 calories. I think it was like 90 grams of sugar. And is that the only thing someone's going to eat in a day? That's just a drink. That's just a snack. So we can easily intake these calories and these sugars so quickly without the fiber. So that's why fiber is so important. And I want to give examples, right? So I love tacos. Who doesn't love tacos? And here we have a nice deep fried shell. Maybe it's in manteca with cheese and a nice maybe barbacoa or like some type of pork with lots of butter or more manteca, which is lard. So you can have a really unhealthy taco. But on the flip side, you can have a healthy taco with fresh black beans or pinto beans and avocado and pico de gallo and a nice whole, whether it's a whole corn tortilla or a whole wheat tortilla or something like that. And the cheese, you could do a little organic cheese, or if you like a plant-based cheese, great. So you can healthify. This is true for adults and kids. I made my daughter yesterday, one of her friends was eating Uncrustable. Everyone know what Uncrustable is? I don't want to pick on brands, but so an Uncrustable. And basically what that is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but it's all white and it has no crust, so it looks like a little alien flying saucer. And one of her friends is eating that. She's like, Dad, I want that. She's 2.5. She's never seen that in her life. I guarantee you. She's like, I want that, Dad. I was like, okay. I'm thinking in my head, okay, what am I going to do? I go home. What I have, our jam, I make it with fresh blueberries and dates. And I blend it up so it makes this yummy sweet jam. And our peanut butter, we just have, normal peanut butter. And what I did was I took our nice whole wheat tortillas. I make them from scratch. This is an extreme example. I don't expect all of you to do this, but as me as a dietitian, I'm a little more advanced than you guys, okay? But anyone can get to this level, okay? I took the tortilla and I put the jam and the peanut butter in there, and I took like a little round circular, what was like a glass or something, and I cut it out and I made a little Uncrustable for her. She loved it. She didn't even know the difference. She was like, boom, she went outside. I got my Uncrustable. Little did she know there was no added sugar, it was full of fiber, it's full of nutrition, protein, I mean, you name it. Whereas an Uncrustable, I've read those ingredients. You got high fructose corn syrup, you got no fiber or hardly any, you got bleached white flour, and I am picking on this, and every little thing makes a difference because it adds up. Because we're living in a world now where there's added sugar in your pasta sauce. There's added sugar in your peanut butter and jelly. There's added sugar in your peanut butter. If anyone, I'm pick on brands again, Jif and Skippy. If you're buying Jif and Skippy, there's added sugar in that peanut butter when there shouldn't be. But again, sugar, why we process, why we do all this is sugar is not only highly tasty, but it's highly addictive. And sugar is something that what researchers and myself call an obesogen. It's an obesogenic food. And you can guess what that means, right? Why we're here today. So, let's go to the next one. Mac and cheese. Yum. But again, and I gotta switch this one out, but this is an extreme example, but another pasta dish could be like a zucchini noodle with a nice veggie ragu sauce or something like that, and do a nice pasta dish. But even a mac and cheese, even with mac and cheese, you can sub out, like do a whole grain noodle, organic cheese, slice up some spinach and broccoli in there and mix it in too. Great. Little things. Again, it's not about perfection. This is another thing I always say constantly. It's not about perfection, it's just progress. Wherever you are today, how can I just progress a little bit for the next day or the next meal, right? Let's go to the next one. Baked potato. Whether you're at a restaurant or at home, you make a big loaded baked potato, white russet potato with lots of butter and sour cream and bacon bits. Why not? This is a Mediterranean sweet potato. So you do a sweet potato with some roasted chickpeas, and you can roast spinach or tomato, and there's like a tahini dressing, or you can use an organic sour cream, and just switch things up a little bit. And again, it could just be, keep your normal baked potato and maybe put in a sweet potato, right? Or keep your normal baked potato and don't do the sour cream, do some sauteed veggies on top of it. Make it loaded with yummy veggies on top. You know, again, it's up to you. It's your small changes that you want to make. What about this, like a sloppy Joe or like a barbecued, I don't know, what is this? Yeah, pulled, that's what, I couldn't think of that word. Pulled pork, yes. Something really cool. So again, a change could be a whole grain bun on your pulled pork sandwich. Take a step further, I'm going to add some greens and tomato with like a no added sugar dressing in your pulled pork sandwich, or no added sugar barbecue sauce. Take it a step further and say, instead of pulled pork, you know what that is in there? Chicken? Nope. Turkey? Nope. It's called jackfruit. It's delicious. It's amazing. So you're like, what? Fruit? Fruit? So they call this the miracle fruit. And it grows usually in Asia or the Pacific islands, Philippines and things like that. It's jackfruit. It's this big fruit. It's full of amino acids, full of protein, full of fiber. It's super healthy, and it shreds just like chicken or pork. So it's almost like a tofu. You know, you use tofu as like a meat substitute. Jackfruit's a wonderful meat substitute. You can saute it with onions and barbecue sauce and make a pulled pork sandwich out of it. Anywhere. You can get it fresh at the like Asian markets where you see it's like a big fruit. You can get it canned almost anywhere. I've seen it at Albertsons, Ralph's. It's usually like in the ethnic food section in a can. It'll be young jackfruit. Yep, it's great. It's great. So now that, and again, I know this is very quick, but now that you know what to eat, so how do we have a healthy mealtime? Well, you know the Clean Plate Club, right? Instead of this, and this applies to adults and kids especially, I always say do the Serve Yourself Club, right? So for kids, I say Serve Yourself Club. Have the kids, depending on their age, if they're a little bit older, have them serve themselves so they feel invested in it. So they know, okay, yeah, I'm getting this amount, I'm going to eat this amount. And with children, you have to understand their stomachs are smaller. Children are likely to eat, less food more often. So depending even on the size of your plate, you may think it's a little bit, but to that child, it's overwhelming. To the child, they may think, I'm not going to eat this, So consider that as well. And I would say, get out of the Clean Your Plate Club and do the Serve Yourself Club, This one, so this is the kid, all done. Mom, you're full. The kid, or the mom, take one more bite. No more, just one more bite. No, all done. Down, down, down. Okay, 1 minute later, what's that? What are you eating? Right, I have a 2.5-year-old, this is exactly it, right? But what this is the TV on. Are the friends there? Are brother and sister around, not at the table? Are there toys? Just slow down and cook it. Get the kids involved. A simple recipe, Put on some relaxing music. Eat your favorite food last. No multitasking. So the TV's on. Are you trying to get work done and eat? Are you driving and eating? Sit at a real table, so that connects with that. Respect your body and your health. So, hey, I'm trying this jackfruit sandwich James talked about. Let me see what it's about. I'm going to be more mindful. Chew your food. I can't tell you how many patients I have with GI issues, and they're eating so fast, and it's exacerbating those issues. Because one cool fact, did you guys know saliva is actually filtered blood? And so that's why each person's saliva is so unique and different. And in that saliva, you have those wonderful enzymes, and digestion starts before you even put food in your mouth. When you just see the food, your mouth starts to water, your stomach starts to work, you're starting to release those enzymes in your saliva. And so the more you chew that food, you're going to reduce your bloating, you're going to reduce your gas, you're going to help your GI prepare for that food. So this is where mindful eating is scientifically proven. Okay? Drink more water, don't hurry, cook and eat in a good mood, as best you can. Come home stressed, take a deep breath. Okay, let's eat with the family. Like I said again, no one's perfect. I'm not saying you're going to eat with the family every single day of the week. Start with 1 day a week and work your way from there. 2 days, 3 days. I'll touch on this. I could probably talk a whole day on this topic. So environment. A lot of times with environment, we think of like family environment and the house, but I challenge my patients too, and this is maybe later on in our follow-up visits, to think about other environmental factors, plastics, hygiene products, furniture cleaners, pesticides, air fresheners, smoking, whether it's secondhand or third-hand smoke, and VOCs. You guys all know everything about that, right? You guys are good? So there are things in our plastic Tupperwares. So BPA is a very popular one. That's actually an endocrine disruptor, and that's why we had to take it out and got rid of it. However, they replaced it with something similar to an endocrine disruptor. So with plastics, it's very hard to get away from these hazardous chemicals. Pesticides, how many of you spray for insects or your gardener spray? No, it's okay, don't be ashamed. HOAs do it, parks do it. However, so many pesticides have been linked to increased Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, any type of neurological issues, obesity, diabetes. So again, it's these chemicals that are around us as well. I challenge you to take a look at. And if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, it's okay. I'm like shoving many visits and kind of a glimpse into what I do with my patients into a little 30-minute time frame. But that's where I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to talk to you even further. But it's looking into all these products that we don't even think about. If your child is having a weird rash out of nowhere, or itchy scalp, or is having allergies and sneezing and coughing, respiratory issues, this is another place to look. Definitely. And what shampoos, what laundry detergents, what are they microwaving? Are they microwaving a plastic bowl? So a lot of things we don't think about. Volatile organic compounds. So that could be everything from engine exhaust to a cleaner that you smell like a bleach and it has a very strong smell. And they even say on the label, do not inhale. Basically anything like that has VOCs and releases VOCs. And so I'll leave that up here. I have also my card at the table, but I want to take any questions. There's no. Yeah.
Did you say fiber as the number one?
Fiber, yeah. So the way you'll know you're getting fiber in a product is if you see a whole food. So if the ingredient says almonds, walnuts, or if it's a whole food, you're going to get fiber. You're going to get fiber. And so fiber, I say fiber is, we have essential amino acids and essential fatty acids. Fiber is the essential carbohydrate. I wholeheartedly believe that. So fiber is one of those things, 20-something years ago we thought, hey, it just helps us use the restroom. Little did we know, we may not digest fiber, but our little microbes do. And they do wonderful things with it. From help us sleep better, to help us feel in a better mood, to give us these healthy fatty acids, and the amazing things that our little microbes do in our skin with fiber. So yeah, but fiber though, I wouldn't say look on the nutrition facts for fiber, because they might trick you. They might just add fiber in. It's better to get it from natural, eat food. Eat an apple, broccoli, or a full ingredient. Yeah. Breads. Right. Right. And so sorry, I didn't repeat the question. The question was, you hear about 7-grain breads and all these whole wheat breads, and they can be really confusing. Should you eat bread even? I say eat bread, and the same rule applies. Is you gotta look at the ingredients, because you can see the brownest bread with seeds all over it, but the second or third ingredient is a type of added sugar. Then you're kind of defeating the purpose. Or flour, or like a white flour, or you see something that says wheat flour. It should say 100% whole wheat flour. Okay? Even then, you should see other grains in there, and you should not see sugar in your bread. There's no reason for sugar in your bread. I say if there's sugar in your bread, then you're eating a pastry. It's not bread. If you go back when we used to make bread early on, it was this dense block of nutrition. And if you think of why we even eat food in the first place, it's to bring nutrition into our body. We've kind of, in the last 80 years, we've made food to take away nutrition from our body. So it's going back to those whole foods and get that fiber, bring that nutrition back into your body. Yeah. It's a great question about bread. Will this presentation be available? I'd be more than happy to make it available.
Yes,
Yeah.
It'll be on our YouTube channel.
It'll be on the YouTube
and
channel.
I'll announce that at the end.
So the team will announce it and I'll be happy to email this, or you can look at it on YouTube as well. Is there a handout? I didn't make a handout, but you can rewatch the video. I'll give you my presentation, and I'll throw in a new card. No, I'm just kidding.
James, if I'll announce afterwards.
And I have a handout I give to my patients. I'll be happy to include that as well. Yeah.
I'll provide that information.
We can do that. So look at a handout. Yeah, definitely we can do that. Any other questions? Yeah.
So part of taking your time and would you say there's a number of times you should chew your food before you swallow?
So part of taking your time with food and mindful eating is chewing your food, and she's asking, is there a certain number? I think the number out there that I've seen floating around is like 30 times to chew. But ain't nobody got time for that, right? I don't have time for that. So, chew your food to where you feel it is like a puree in your mouth. That's what I say. And once it's like that, swallow. But again, if you're not having these bloating issues or any GI issues or heartburn then I would say, you're okay. Just be a little more aware of your chewing. You don't have to get too concerned. But if you are having those issues, and I'd say it's probably like 8 out of 10 people are, chew your food a little bit better and see how you feel. Little things too, drink some warm lemon water before your meals, or include that with your meal. And chew your food, and see how that, you might feel like, wow, I don't have the indigestion, or my stomach isn't so bloated right now. You'd be surprised that, again, we just kind of look at simple, basic things and then move up from there with my patients, yeah.
Would you recommend using
Apple cider vinegar, I haven't really seen a great study out there for apple cider vinegar. If anyone has one, send it my way. But what's cool with apple cider vinegar, I say use that to pickle vegetables or ferment vegetables. That's really good for that. And what's cool is when you pickle or ferment your vegetables, you release all these probiotics. And each vegetable has its own set of probiotics that you release. So that's why some people pickle beets, some people pickle carrots, and then you've seen pickled cauliflower and all. So each vegetable, just like it has its own phytonutrients, it'll have its own probiotic profile that apple cider vinegar can help release, and it ferments. So that's really cool. That's something else I say to my patients is eat fermented or pickled vegetables every day you can. It's a great natural probiotic. Kimchi, yep. Kimchi is great. Pickled ginger, anything pickled. Fermented. Pickles, yep. But with pickles, they add a lot of sugar in them, so make sure you get a pickle without sugar. Sodium. So he's saying a lot of pickled and fermented things have a lot of sodium. So if they're truly, I have to double check, but if they're truly pickled or fermented, they're not going to have that much sodium. It's going to be more the vinegar that you're getting that sour, sodium-like taste. But even if they add a little bit of salt, I wouldn't be, the benefits outweigh the risk of salt. I mean, again, this is for a majority. Unless you're like a renal patient who's on a very strict diet, then this does not apply to you. But at 90%, the pros of pickled or fermented is going to vastly outweigh the cons. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say, yeah, so kimchi has way more benefits than any negatives. Yes. I can show you a recipe. Yeah, it gets a little fancier, but yeah, that's basically pickling. It's like a vinegar. You can add some herbs and spices and throw in your cucumber, and you'll get a pickle.
Is that just like a day?
And that, no, it's gonna be like a week or so. Yeah, I'm not a pickling expert. I usually buy mine. Sometimes what I do the lazy pickling. So I'll give you my tip for lazy pickling is I buy pickles or something pickled, and the juice that's in there, I just add more apple cider vinegar and throw in more cucumbers or carrots or cauliflower. And that works. And then I leave it in my fridge, and a couple weeks go by, and you got pickled. It's pickled itself. Eat it raw. But it doesn't taste raw. It's a little softer. It has way more flavor. You add that on top of your salad, have it as a side dish. It's delicious. Where's my recipe? No, I told that I'm lazy, so that's my lazy pickling recipe. I buy something pickled and I look at the ingredients, so it's all good stuff. And then if I need to add more, I add more of my own vinegar, like apple cider vinegar. It's great to add to your jars. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, what about like kefir?
Kefir, yeah. So kefir, so personally, I like coconut kefir. I like coconut kefir as opposed to like, and so what kefir is basically, it's like I explain it as like a milk yogurt in a way. So it's like, you know, yogurt has cultures in there, right? And so this is almost like a milk that also has cultures. And so I say I like coconut kefir. So it's a coconut milk that has those cultures in there, right? And so another thing, because with animal products, again, I would say you're gonna have to get the best quality. I usually recommend, and so it's a lot cheaper, and you still get all the benefits if you do coconut kefir. Yeah. Kefir, it's like a probiotic drink. So they add different cultures like acidophilus and all these different cultures, and it ferments. So you get all these wonderful, healthy bacteria, and they call it kefir.
I just wondered what kimchi was and where to buy it.
So kimchi is a fermented cabbage. It's popular with Asian cultures, Vietnamese, yeah, but it's delicious. Or Korean, yes, sorry. Yeah, it's delicious.
You can get it. I get it at Mother's and Sprouts.
Yeah, I mean you can get it. Yeah, Mother's, Sprouts, but even like Ralph's, Albertsons. Yep.
Is it very good?
It's, if you like, I mean, if you do like a vinaigrette dressing, think of it as like a vinegary, sour, but it's great. I mean, if you have it on a salad, throw in, chop some beets and raisins and nuts and seeds and make a yummy green salad. It's delicious. Yeah. That's just me though. But again, start where you need to start. So if maybe don't start with kimchi. I can give you something else to start with, because I don't want you to be like, oh, what is he talking about? But it can be an acquired taste. So see where you are. Start with your bread. Get the sugar out of your bread. Start with your peanut butter. Get the sugar out of your peanut butter. All these little changes. Because a lot of us are eating around 30 to 40 teaspoons of added sugar a day without even knowing it. And then we go into the weekend thinking, yeah, I can have some cake and ice cream, or there's a birthday party. I've been good this week. Little do you know you've had all this hidden sugar the whole week. And that's why we're seeing obesity epidemics, diabetes epidemics, because of all the hidden added sugar. How am I with time? Am I
We're good.
good? Okay. Any other questions or any? You got me here. I mean, let me know. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. And another, yeah.